Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is the 42nd episode of the SuperNova Show! And I am your host, Colton Roberts, and this is our first ever version of the SuperNova Show that is live. That's pretty interesting. So hopefully nothing awful happens, because you out there in the YouTube space, you should be able to see this. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. We're gonna talk some NFL today. I got our yeah. So talk about some NFL stuff, some interesting stuff that's happened in trivia. I'll do a short review of Eternals, and then we're gonna do some Disney Plus Day. That happened today, and that's going to be interesting. But yeah, this is going to be a good show. And I, of course, like always, knock on wood, I've got the reigning, defending, undefeated, undisputed, multiplex fandom teams champion of the world, Robert the Ghost Kastner.
Yep. Still, again, for now. That's it for now.
Yes.
But you can't get rid of me. I'm always here.
Yes.
Unfortunate for you.
No, it's great because that means I don't have to talk to myself.
No, I think
those are the worst shows ever.
Who knows? You might get more views if that's the case. People make some sort of comment for those die-hard SuperNova Show fans. If you appreciate the SuperNova Show more, if he's just doing it by himself. Yeah, there's only been a few instances.
Yeah, and please don't lie to me. Okay, and I am on our. Hey, we are on YouTube, so we're good.
Oh, we're on YouTube live.
Yep. So, yeah,
that's pretty sick.
It's weird that I'm watching it on the phone and it's not exact.
No.
Correct, but it's
never will be.
Yeah, so that's a little weird. But I'm gonna share this.
Look at this, everyone, sharing in real time, and we don't have to pretend like this is the future.
No, yeah, we do not. So yeah, how you been?
Pretty good. It was a pretty good week. I've been pretty busy, so in terms of the things that we're going to talk about, I'm probably going to rely on you for giving the breakdowns, if you will, of what is going on, because I have been a spectator, not to those things, but to other things, because I've had to prepare for details and situations that we will discuss as we move forward in the show.
Yep. But yeah, life's been pretty interesting.
Yes.
Little boy is 22 weeks old now. Well, yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty interesting. 22 weeks yesterday, so
a little more than halfway there, huh?
Yep, over halfway there, as long as he stays in like he's supposed to. Like his big brother came out at 30 weeks, and his other big brother came out at 33.
Wow.
So, hey, you better stay in there, little man.
That means they're trending correctly.
Yes, and she's like taking all her shots and everything to where they'll hope that they will keep in, and I'm making sure she does everything she needs to. So, yep, that's fun. Yeah, like it's gonna be good. But
how big is he now? Do you have a measurement?
Ooh, I know he's a little bit over a pound, but
okay,
size wise, I don't.
Okay.
Any idea? All right, I just shared the show to my Facebook, so I don't know how we'll know if people comment because I've never ran a live show before.
Hey, you, all of
so
Colton,
yeah, that will be very interesting.
Colton, all of you out there, Colton's 50 Facebook friends or whatever.
Yeah, that's one of those things that like. Recently, I've went through my Facebook and deleted a bunch of people.
Yes.
Just like random people that I haven't talked to in like 5 or 10 years. Now it's moments like this where I'm like, man, they could have viewed my podcast.
Yeah.
Or they could have seen my work ad thing.
That's what you have to. That's why if people give you crap about how many people you're connected to, just say I'm doing it for branding purposes.
Yes, that is exactly right. But yeah, all right. So let's move on to NFL talk, and I got something to say. All right, I have really enjoyed this season of football.
Wow.
But what the part? I'm not cursing. I don't do that. But what the crap are you doing, Carolina Panthers? You are so good. Like, I haven't watched you in 4 years because Cam Newton is a garbage bag human being, and now he's back. Now I can't watch
He's
football.
back. Superman is back.
Yeah. Like, oh my Lord.
What are they doing?
Yeah, I mean, I understand why they potentially did it because our new quarterback is apparently a ginormous hack. But
oh yeah, remember how excited you were?
Yeah, because like the first 2 weeks ago, great.
Yeah, he also played crappy teams. And when you play crappy teams, and there was a situation where Sam Darnold was scoring a rushing touchdown a game, which was insane. And then the real Sam Darnold showed up, and then he got hurt. What Carolina has found out, interestingly enough, is that holding on to Teddy Bridgewater was the better move. Because Teddy Bridgewater has a team vying for the playoffs in Denver, and he made life a whole lot easier for DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. And now life is terrible for them. They can't get anything going. They're talking, somebody was talking the other day, I was listening to it. They were talking about DJ Moore. They were like, he better not sign here. He might be a Stephon Diggs where he's not as utilized as he should be given his talent in his current situation. But if he goes somewhere else, he could flourish, a la Stephon Diggs going to Buffalo. That might happen to DJ Moore unless they get a real quarterback.
Yeah, like, so what I'm wondering is, so this week, the Panthers got killed by the Patriots.
Yeah.
So instead of being like, hey, let's improve our game, they think to themselves, hey, the quarterback that wasn't good enough to stay with them, let's get him.
There's not many options out there, unfortunately.
Like, it came out, what, Thursday that they signed him?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, because I remember I texted you and I texted my wife screenshots of it and was just like, oh my Lord. And now we have stuff to talk about this week. So
if you recall, because we're after the trade deadline, or 2 weeks after the trade deadline, there were situations that were arising where there was, and you were talking about garbage human beings, supposedly, allegedly. There were rumors that Carolina was going to trade for Deshaun Watson. And Carolina was still in a position where if they had a decent quarterback, they could actually be good because they have a good defense. They have good skill position players. Christian McCaffrey just came back. So they could actually be decent. And I was sitting here as someone who drafted Deshaun Watson at the end of a fantasy football draft because I was like, well, if he gets traded, he's going to be great. I was sitting there. I was like, man, Carolina would be great for him. But nobody wants to pay the price. Everybody's confused about what his impending legal status will entail. So nobody made a move. Nobody wanted to pull the trigger. You're looking at Carolina now, and while Tampa, is up there, and the Saints were up there until they blew this Atlanta game last week.
Yeah.
And Alvin Kamara's hurt now, so that hurts. They really could have used somebody. They really could be. The NFC does not have a whole lot of teams over 500. Carolina could be that with a good quarterback. Really should have thought about making a trade. Maybe not for Deshaun Watson, but maybe for somebody else. Because yes, now they are in a situation where they have to go back to the well because there's not anybody out there that they can get. And Cam just so happens to fit the mold of he can start because PJ Walker's their starter now and he could probably beat him out. And he's familiar with the organization, familiar with the town, and he will sell more jerseys for those people. If they're smart, Cam won't be able to get back the number 1 jersey. He'll get another jersey number so they can sell a whole new line of Cam Newton jerseys. And he'll put people in the stands. So that's really what this is. It's not a competitive move so much as it is a marketing money move.
Yeah. Okay. So I know we talked at the beginning of the season So, who do you think, now that we're on the live show here,
Yes.
and no one's watching,
Well,
because
it's Friday night, you know, people
yeah,
got stuff going on. Might be coming off work.
yeah. So who do you think's going to the Super Bowl?
At this moment, right now.
Yes.
So, are we going to talk about the Aaron Rodgers thing as well? Because we didn't.
We will definitely talk about that.
Okay. I only mentioned that because I think it was proven, unfortunately, that he will probably win the MVP because without him, they were god awful last week, and a game they really could have won. With Aaron Rodgers, easily could have won that game. I think as of this moment, I am leaning Tampa. No, sorry. I'm leaning the Rams because the Rams made a big deal. Actually, they made a few big deals over the last couple weeks. I'm going to pick the Rams, and I only pick the Rams because they have the tiebreaker over the Bucks. And I guess I'm going to pick. I guess I'm going to pick Buffalo. I guess I have to pick Buffalo because if you look everywhere else, Tennessee's pretty good, but they don't have Derrick. When you don't have your best player, it's hard to pick them. And Buffalo just lost a terrible game to Jacksonville. Everybody has problems, is the point, especially in the AFC. So I can't really pick it. Buffalo by default. It has to be. The NFC's harder because.
So what about the Ravens?
Did you see? I mean, they just had a game last night. They lost to a very terrible Miami team. So I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. Plus, my team is in that division with them. And I know my team gives that team fits. Specifically, that gives Lamar Jackson fits. So I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. So, no, it's Buffalo by default because they're going to win their division. Although the Patriots are now within striking distance. I hate people who think, well, I listen to people who are Boston people on podcasts, and they make the case that the Patriots could win the AFC, which is the dumbest thing ever. But they make the case. No, it's Buffalo by default. So Buffalo versus the Rams, which is what a lot of people had at the beginning of the year, but it's kind of bearing out that way. If you could tell me that Arizona would get Kyler back healthy, I might give them a shot because they're 8-1. They'll have a tiebreaker, and they might get the bye. But he gets hurt. He's a small dude. He gets hurt. We don't know if he's going to play this week. They beat the crap out of San Francisco without him, which was interesting. But, yeah, Buffalo Rams. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I want to go the Bucks because, hashtag Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Because every time I say stuff like that, I know it drives you insane.
Yeah, well, the thing with them is that they might just be the team by default. The problem with the Rams is that the coach got there, but their quarterback has never had any postseason success. So it's hard to gauge how that's going to work. But the Rams brought in Von Miller. The Rams just brought in, as of yesterday, Odell Beckham Jr. and Deshaun Jackson prior. I mean, so they have weapons all over the field.
Yeah, why did the Browns let him go?
Well, I mean, a few reasons. He could never stay healthy. When he was on the field, he could never. I mean, they showed a video of him getting open. His dad did the thing on Twitter where he posted to Baker Mayfield's Twitter talking about all the times he was open. But Baker just seems to be a better player without Odell. I think because they don't feel obligated to give him the ball so they can run the ball more, which is what they're more adept at doing. And he was causing a distraction. He's doing Odell things, which is causing distractions for people. And the money thing too. So they let him go because it was past the trade deadline. So they didn't figure that out in enough time, like idiots. So they let him go for nothing. And it just made more sense to pay him and get him away from them. And that's why they did it.
So I've always wondered, how do the salaries work in the NFL?
They're starting. So it's not like baseball and basketball. Baseball and basketball have guaranteed contracts so that people who sign them, they get the extent of their money throughout the life of the contract. So when you see somebody in baseball and basketball sign a good contract, they're getting the bulk of that money. Football, it's not guaranteed. In some cases, they've moved towards guaranteeing contracts, but because of the brutal nature of football, ownership and leadership are very hesitant to guarantee contracts. So that's always a big controversial point during collective bargaining between players and owners. So, I mean, contracts work how typically contracts work in sports. They sign for a certain amount, they get a signing bonus, and they get a guarantee amount of money, which they're obligated to get. And then they have a yearly salary. So for Odell, for instance, I think they just paid him the rest of what he was due on his contract, or they came up with a figure they probably negotiated, and then he signed this 1-year deal with the Rams. So he's going to get essentially paid by 2 teams.
Okay, because I know, wasn't it a thing that Brady, for the longest time, like he didn't get paid as much as he would?
No.
Because he would rather have a really good team around him.
Yes, that's the benevolent Tom Brady. He had to live off the millions of dollars of endorsements because so he could make sure that he could build a team around him. Yes,
and I know like Cam, when he was playing for the Panthers, he was making what, like $50 million a year after that first Super Bowl appearance.
No, I mean when he won the MVP, I think he signed a contract before that. He was drafted in 2011. He went to the Super Bowl in 2015. Yeah. I think they signed him to an extension before that. And then he gets, sometimes, a lot of times in players' contracts, they get elevator clauses and they get special bonuses for achieving certain things, like making the All-Star game or the Pro Bowl, getting the team to the Super Bowl, playing a certain amount of snaps or games. So, yeah, I mean, Brady had a lot of leverage that ends because of all the extracurricular money that he made, that he didn't have to get paid as much. He's still getting paid $12 to $15 million, whatever the heck. He wasn't getting paid like my stupid quarterback gets paid, 28 to 30 million, and he stinks. But he took pay cuts because he realized that's really the way that you should do it to keep people around. So yeah, there are people who prioritize the money over having a good team. Some people can. I mean, Patrick Mahomes signed a $500 million contract or whatever it was. But you know what? He won a Super Bowl. He won an MVP. While it doesn't look as good this year, they're still always a threat. The Chiefs are bad, and they're 5-4.
Yeah.
I mean, that's stupid. That's real stupid.
So have you ever watched the show Ballers?
I've seen episodes of it.
Okay. It's a lot about football and contracts and all that stuff. And apparently, like, when players get out of the NFL, they don't know what to do with themselves, so they buy everything in the universe and then realize, crap, we're broke. And they're screwed. And I'm like, I don't know how you don't, like, go into the NFL and immediately hire an accountant.
You should. And I think as time has gone on, because now they have rookie symposiums and rookie camps for that, the NFL is doing a lot more to try to assist players financially, fiduciarily, so that they're more responsible, so that those things don't happen. Because yes, there were many, many cases, not just in football, basketball, baseball too, where people just did not know how to handle money. It stinks. You always want to be, young and rich, but when you're 19 and you make $10 million a year, you don't know what to do with yourself. If you don't have a good support system around you, you're bound to fall into a bad crowd and make poor decisions.
Yeah, like there are people on there that, made $10 million a year, but they spent 12.
Yes.
And because when they'd be home, old friends would come around and family everything, and they'd buy their mama 3 houses, or their brothers and sisters this, or their best friends this. So they'd end up getting hurt and no longer have that contract. And then they're $8 million in debt because they spent more than what they were making.
Or they hired the wrong people and a financial planner took advantage of them. There's a lot of different situations where that happens. But the leagues themselves have done better to try to make sure that people are aware, so that people don't end up in ruin. And then, couple that with the long-term chronic health issues, that doesn't create a situation where people are dangers to themselves.
Yeah, which, I mean, I guess granted, we do that too as middle class people. Is we'll be like we spend more money uh, than we make sometimes. Like my sons were talking to me the other day. They were like, "Why is Black Friday a thing?" And I explained to them how consumerism works.
Yeah.
Throughout the year, you make a TV for $200, right? All throughout the year, you sell it for $500 to $600. On Black Friday, you sell it for $400, and instead of where people would not normally buy a TV, but they see that it's $200 cheaper, they don't need it, but they buy it anyway because of whatever. Same kind of concept, I guess. Is like you don't need this thing, but it's there, so you get it.
Yeah.
And, yeah, like.
I mean, you do that.
Yeah.
Money is the equalizer for effort, right? Sometimes you get lazy and you don't want to do something, so you go out to eat, right? And then that costs a little bit of money, but you like how that goes because it eases a lot of stress off you. Stress eaters sometimes equal, well, I don't want to say financial ruin, but sometimes equal situations where you have to then pinch pennies down the road.
Yeah, like I will say, when I was single, that was a lot easier. Like I could buy a $5 cheeseburger and I'd be good. Yeah. Now, as a married man with 2 kids, like it is a lot more expensive to go out and eat than it is just to buy food and cook at home.
Yes, that's what you learn. That's what you learn in life. You don't like to cook, but it keeps you in the green a bit longer.
Yeah. But when you're like a single dude, you could be like, yeah, I could buy 5 McDoubles at McDonald's, and that will be my lunch and my dinner. And that's like $7, and that's 2 meals worth. But if I wanted to buy 2 meals worth and cook it, that's 2 hours of my life cooking, and also more money than that.
A local bar my parents like to go to will have like $1 hamburger night on a specific night. You're like, well, yeah, we should go to that because, I mean, we could eat together for like $10. Why would you not want to do that?
Hey, we have 1 viewer.
All right, I don't know who it is, but I
have no idea.
Comment,
but congratulations. We appreciate.
We did it. You're the first live viewer of the SuperNova show.
That is correct.
Don't have anything to give you except our adoration.
Yes.
That for all it's worth.
And it's not me either, so that's good.
Well, that's good.
I made sure that my app was closed.
So
not me.
You did not give me an answer for who you think will be in the. You said Tampa, but
Tampa, and I gotta look at the AFC because they're a train wreck.
No, actually, the AFC has more teams over 500 than the NFC does. So actually, the NFC is just more top heavy.
I'm gonna say, yeah, the Titans.
Titans?
Yep.
Okay, I'm telling you, it's really hard to continue to do this without your best player.
Yeah.
I don't want to say they've gotten lucky because they beat the brakes off the Rams the other day. And they beat the crap out of the Chiefs too. Granted, the Chiefs are not the Chiefs, but they're still good. I just want to see if that will hold. My team plays them later on in the season, so I'm curious what that will be like. But yeah, I mean, sometimes you just got to be coached well and you have a good system. It can all work out. So Tennessee versus Tampa, It's really cutting down the regional aspect for that, for sure.
Yeah, let's leave it in my neck of the woods.
Southeast. Let's just and the games in LA, I believe.
Yeah,
that
makes me feel like if it's not if the Rams,
well, Tampa did it last year. Tampa was the first team to play Super Bowl in their home stadium.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams were the second this year. So.
But yeah, all right. So Aaron Rodgers.
Yes. Potential MVP Aaron Rodgers at this point. So
I don't like talking about politics on the show, but what in the world was he doing?
Well, he took cues from Joe Rogan.
which like I don't want to say anything because I love Joe Rogan, but
You can find Joe Rogan entertaining, but he is polarizing. You can say that as well.
he's really funny. His podcast is
Did you ever watch News Radio?
No,
Radio?
but his podcast is the second best podcast on YouTube, followed right behind the SuperNova show.
If only that was the case.
No, that is absolutely not. But
because that would mean we're monetized and then wouldn't have to work for a living.
I was about to say if that was the case, we probably wouldn't see any of that money because it's TMG. But
I'm pretty sure you could figure out.
I would hope we would see some of that money, but you never know.
We'd have endorsements, I bet. So I'm sure we could get money from the endorsements.
Yes. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm a person who I understand, like, people definitely don't lie about it. If you're not going to get vaccinated.
So he says he didn't lie. He says that he was immunized, as he called it, but he wasn't really, because it wasn't what traditional standards are for immunization, because he didn't get vaccinated traditionally. He says he couldn't get vaccinated traditionally because of the stuff in the vaccines that he did research against. So he decided to use homeopathic methods that were not approved by the NFL.
Yeah.
And then he said the woke mob, cancel culture, came after him. Which, you know, yeah, you don't want to get political, but if you want to do something that earns you $35 million, $40 million a year, you have to figure out a way to play by the rules. I know you're Aaron Rodgers and you don't want to play by the rules ever. He wanted to be the host of Jeopardy and be the quarterback for the Green Bay Packers simultaneously. It's not doable. It's not possible. It's not feasible. But he's like, I'm Aaron Rodgers and I should be able to do that. And he tried to do it and they wouldn't let him. I think he's a person who hasn't been told what to do maybe since he was in high school. And I think when you're not told what to do for 20 odd years of your life, going on 30, it's really hard to fall back in line for things.
Yeah, and he was dating Olivia Munn, right?
Oh, yes, he was. He's not anymore. He's dating Shailene Woodley.
Yeah. So,
do you know who's dating Olivia Munn?
I do not.
John Mulaney. He's having a baby with her.
Ooh, all right.
After all his trouble, because when you're a person who has drug and alcohol problems, you want to have a stable person behind you in a relationship, and there's nobody more stable than Olivia Munn. So good, good for him. But anyway, getting back to Aaron Rodgers, he's going to play this week more than likely. He'll play a game, he'll play a couple games, and then he got fined like $14,000, which $14,000 for Aaron Rodgers is like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Meter money for us.
Yeah, 1/2000th of his pay.
Which is dumb because, as I was told by friends of mine, that amount of money is what you get fined when you wear the wrong socks on game day, when you have jersey problems. He freaking lied about taking the vaccine and putting hundreds of people at risk, thousands of people, if you think about like him playing in the stadiums and how, you know, stuff could spread perhaps. But they're like, nah, we'll just fine you a little bit. You know why? Because they don't want to piss him off. Because he makes a lot of money for the NFL and they want him out there. It all comes back to moolah.
Yeah.
It's sickening. It's the sickening truth of capitalism. But it's the society we live in, and I believe in it. It's just it's not altruistic in its nature.
Yep. But yeah, NFL, it's going to be interesting.
Who do you think is going to be the MVP?
All right, so I don't know how the MVP works.
What do you mean?
It's got to be one of the two teams that's in the NFL or the Super Bowl, right?
No.
Oh, then nope. I have no idea how it works then.
No, it's a regular season award.
Oh, okay. I always just assumed because it's all isn't it most of the time won by someone who was in the Super Bowl though?
I mean, a lot of the time, but no, I mean, like, who just won it? Didn't Aaron Rodgers just win it? They didn't make the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Yeah,
have no idea.
Aaron Rodgers just won it. They didn't make. Lamar Jackson won it. They didn't make it out of the first round. No, you just usually have to be on a team that's good that makes the playoffs.
Okay. Yeah. Then I have no idea.
Okay. I'm
Because
surprised you just didn't say Tom Brady.
well, I mean, I could have said that.
Yeah, you can.
But, that's not. No.
I don't think he will win. They would have to probably win the rest of their games, and he would have to be nuclear good. Like he would have to be nuclear hot. So I'm between Aaron Rodgers and Matt Stafford on the Rams. Personally.
Okay.
Lamar was up there too, but he blew this game in Miami, so I have to imagine that he took a huge hit from that.
All right. So yeah. All right. So the movie trivia report.
Yes.
So I will tell you, I didn't know this until this week, but I didn't know that people who were in the Schmodown could play in the fan leagues if it wasn't like something trivia related.
Yeah.
So I clicked on a video because all I saw that it was a multiplex video, and I saw that it said Robert on it. I immediately assumed it was you.
Nope.
Because it was a number one contenders match, and I was like, oh, cool, Robert, I'm gonna watch this match. And then it's a debate match with Robert Parker, and I'm just like, ah.
Yeah. If you do you know Multiplex Miscellaneous? Do you know Miscellaneous where they do the non-movie trivia stuff, where they do like history and all that stuff? It's like Trivial Pursuit.
Yeah.
The last episode they just had one Paul Yama on it.
Okay.
So yeah, if it's not movie trivia related, apparently there's a leeway for that. So
yeah. All right. So I know we talked about this a little bit. So how do you feel about some of the people in the Schmodown going down to the FCL? I know we talked about Christina maybe going, and then Peggy is confirmed to be going.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, there's some people, like, obviously, I think Jen Kemp could probably end up going, but she hasn't really done much in the league. But I'm trying to think of any other pros that I could see going down that way. But
I mean, it's only like 4 or 5 people per faction that are going to get kept, right?
Yep.
So you're probably going to see a lot of mid to lower tier people going. I was thinking someone like James White.
Yeah.
Probably. Maybe newer people or people who aren't.
Maybe like Del Rio.
Yeah. Unfortunately, but he's been very good. He might be a fringe guy. I don't know. Honestly. Yeah. I don't think he'll be stuck in whose faction is he in? Corruption?
The dungeon.
The dungeon. No, he won't stick in the dungeon, but somebody might have a need for him. But I think with all the different title contenders and what that, he probably will be down there, but he's a fringe guy. So I think it's gonna be people who are mid-tier players or people who might be good but just don't have the same cachet to play in the game.
Like I'm trying to think of the rosters right now. I'm actually gonna look at them because obviously there's only going to be all the Star Wars players are going to stay because you can have one Star Wars person unless you have a backup Star Wars person. Like I think Corruption has Sean Sullivan, and then Swag has Laura or Ace. So
that's an interesting one. I assume it would be Laura in that case.
Yeah.
Which
I wonder if there would be players who would be like, no, that's beneath me to go down there.
I think if you looked at this version of the FCL, they probably would say that. But I think given that they're going to do this relegation of a lot of decent enough players, they'll probably get better writing. They'll probably get better storylines. They'll probably get better questions. So like that will improve, and I bet the stigma of that will improve as there are better players in it.
Yeah. But yeah, there's like people like, all right, I'm looking at the rosters right now. Like I figure Brandon Hanna could go down there.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
He would be a great big bad for that, right? I mean,
Yeah, and then of course, so this week they announced that I don't know if you ever watched Schmodown backstage, but
no, I don't have enough time in my life to do.
so they're putting that show on hiatus. With, so that's something, and so we can talk about this. How do you feel about Demolana versus Gold Leader?
I mean, so we have to make a culpa because we didn't think Nikki would get out of the first round, right? Who did she play in the first round?
She played crap. Yeah, I don't remember.
Well, we definitely didn't think she would beat Alex, and then she beat Alex, and then she got to the final. I was like, well, against Gold Leader, there's no way she's going to beat Gold Leader, and then she didn't beat him easily, but she was in control of that match the whole way. So, I mean, it helps, I guess, when you have a former champion coaching you up.
Yeah.
I mean, no slights on anybody, but I guess you can say overall, the Hunter a little bit better than the Demon, because Alex couldn't coach Molly up to winning a tournament, but Andrew
that's unfortunate because like he can only coach her up so much because he was playing her in the first round.
Well, that's fair, but I mean before that, I mean,
yeah.
But kudos to Nikki. I don't know much about her because I don't watch this as religiously or know, like, do the background work on watching the other podcasts and whatnot. But kudos to her. I mean, I don't believe it's has nothing to do with her as a player. I just think, Harper's probably coming for the title of like the best Star Wars player ever. And she's good, and she's cemented herself to get a spot more than likely in the Schmodown moving forward, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that one's gonna be interesting because she's one of those people that she's gonna get picked up by the suspects next year.
Yeah.
Like same thing with like, I figure Rue's gonna get picked up by the suspects.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, who else are they gonna pick? Like, because then they have a team, which I assume is gonna be Lightning Time.
Yeah.
And then who's the other singles person?
Oh, is it 5 they can keep?
Yep. Paige or
I guess, yeah. That might be it. That might be the 5.
Let's see. I'll look at it could be Paige or it's gotta be Paige. Like unless they decide to keep like Drew McWeeny or someone. But yeah, and like Nikki is really good. Really good. But if she doesn't win the title, then I think Marie Wilson, like that's another one where they have 2 Star Wars players. Marie Wilson wins Dragon Con all the time. And this is like proof that the Dragon Con people are not a joke. This season, that's a thing. Like one of them's the champion. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm glad that they put Nikki out there because I don't think like Nikki is a student of the game. Like her husband has probably taught her everything to do with the 5 round, especially with digital. Which so one weird thing that has happened in the last week is unless you have the like the link to the playlist for this season, they're starting to take down all the digital matches.
Really?
In prep for next season because it's going to be completely in person starting next season. So unless you have like the link to the stuff, they leave it up for the episodes up for like 2 weeks and then they take them down. Because apparently, and also so this week they they revealed John Roca's going to get a match at Spectacular, and it's just Christian hasn't decided who he's going to play. And something very interesting happened today.
Yeah, it did.
Yep. Janine beat Merle.
Yeah, he blew his 3 and his 5.
Yeah, so did you watch that?
To be honest, I just, as you were talking, I went through it very quick and watched the result.
So I was watching it earlier, and I was so happy because I've never been able to answer any questions in round 3 in a singles match before, but I knew his 3-pointer. And I was like, it's Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah, I don't know how he didn't know that. I figured that was easy. It's easy as sin.
Like, yeah, he was going through his repeats, and I was like, oh, he knows this. He's pulling a Ben Bateman. And because I knew it. Like, I was like, it's Viggo Mortensen. And I remember, like, when I was a kid, I watched the Lord of the Rings movies, and my mom was like, you're obsessed with these movies, because I loved Return of the King. Still, best movie that's ever been made. But I had it on VHS because we were not financially good enough to, like,
get a DVD.
Get DVD. So the VHS was on 2 VHSs.
Of course, yes. Like
Because,
Titanic.
The movie is about 800 years long. But yeah, so I remember watching those, and then I immediately like go and rewind it, and she'd be like, "You're gonna mess that up." And we got GI. She showed me GI Jane, and I was like, "That's Aragorn." And
GI Jane.
Yeah.
Why? Just because Viggo Mortensen was in it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she should have showed you like a perfect murder then, or whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, she had showed me that, and I was like, that was like one of my earliest memories.
How about Crimson Tide? Show you that?
No.
Okay, I'm just grunting through like Viggo Mortensen movies from before Lord of the Rings. Those are the main 2 that I know.
But yeah, like, so I knew this question, and I was so happy with myself. I was like, hey, I would have scored at least 3 points in this match.
Can you believe the semis that we have?
Yeah, we got
Machine versus the Barbarian.
Yeah.
And then we got Griffey Nooms versus Bibiani.
I think he is going to end up winning this tournament.
Griffey?
Yep.
I would have said that, but I was very impressed by the basically perfect game that Bibbs just played against Del Rio.
Yeah.
That I will say, I do think who wins that wins the tournament for sure. I think that is the final.
Yeah, and like this is now one of those weird things where since the dungeon lost with Merle, there's no way they're winning. There's no way the suspects are winning. So now it's down to three groups: the Mercs, Corruption, and Penn Stock Exchange. Because if Newman wins here, this match against Bibbs and in the tournament finals, that's 6 points. And then if he wins the championship, that's 10 points because that Spectacular it's more. And so that's 16 points. That would boost him up into first place. And if King Arthur wins tonight, which we can't do the cool, so we have to actually make predictions.
My prediction would be that they are going to win.
Yes. And now that Roca's getting a match at Spectacular, that's at least 3 points potentially.
You don't know. They don't know who he's playing, right?
Yeah, I assume like a lot of people think it's going to be Scott Mance to like.
Oh, the trilogy?
Finish out the trilogy, which means he'll win.
Yes. Scott Mance hasn't played in 4 years.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think, but now that Merle is out, they could totally do that.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't mind doing the 3-way him Yodi and Merle again.
Yeah, that would be good.
I think that would be fun.
But
man, the dungeon just
they got killed.
I thought they were gonna. I mean, they started off like gangbusters, and I thought they had this in the bag, and because I picked them, I thought Suspects and Dungeon would be good this year.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, you really, really, really can't take the first couple months to mean anything.
Yeah, and
You can't.
you can't not have a champion on your roster.
It's crazy that they don't.
Like, even though the Den has Star Wars, there's no way they're like that's weird. And like the Suspects, yeah, they could get the 10 points at whatever, but they won't catch up.
Isn't it funny? Like, there are those storylines, right, about like Wit taking the dungeon away from Kaiser or whatever.
Yeah.
Kaiser tried the loading up on Inner Geekdom the previous year, and that didn't work. And then he got all these heavy hitters to space out everything, and that didn't work. Maybe he's just bad strategy-wise.
Yeah, and even this year he doubled up on Inner Geekdom because he got Mara and Robert.
I mean, they had so many champions at the beginning of the year, and they all fucking lost. I mean,
yeah, and at least like Dan did win the belt
and defend it,
and defended it, and then lost it.
Yeah, but I mean, going out in the third round of Janine, you can stop me at any time. I just thought of this as we were discussing that match. Conspiracy theory hat going on.
Yes.
Making sure Schmodown making sure that Janine gets to the finals to have an all-female championship.
Well, the only reason why I don't want that, I hope that's not the case, is one.
I don't think that's the case. I'm just saying.
Yes, Marisol will kill her. She's not good enough to. Yeah. Just like I know a few months ago we talked about how like I personally would have hated her first championship is to be if she had retained it with Jeff.
Yeah, I mean that would have been
an awful way to start your legacy. But like I don't think she's ever going to do it. Like I
think she can. I mean, she's going in the right direction now, right? I mean, that first year was the first year aside when she made the triple threat number one contender match.
Yeah,
that she had in the bag in blue. She's been steadily going from bad to mediocre to okay. She's now pretty decent, and I wouldn't put it past her. I don't think she will. I wouldn't put it past her to beat the Barbarian and get to the final.
Yeah. I'm trying to.
He showed me something beating the kid. I think that's amazing that he was able to do that.
And also, like, I kind of hate that. Like, it wouldn't have changed the game any, I don't think, but Brendan could have challenged he said the Muppets movie, and it was the Muppet movie.
Yeah.
Like, benefit of doubt clause and everything, but I'm glad they didn't do that.
It'd be kind of a crappy way to pull.
Yeah, but I mean, so many people have used that this season.
Yeah.
So why not? I guess. But yeah.
Well, as someone who almost lost the title because they wrote Christoph instead of Christoph, I'm never gonna get over that. By the way, I just want.
Yeah.
Makes me mad every time I think about it. No. So you think Griffey's gonna win? So do you think Griffey's gonna be double belted?
I do think Griffey is gonna be. Oh, maybe not.
Because you don't think they'll beat Shazam, right?
Yeah. I think since it's gonna be in person, I don't think they'll beat Shazam.
Okay, that would be. I mean, that was the joke, right? During Shazam's last run up, they're like, we only lose at Spectacular.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely possible that continues, and I think it would be one heck of a game. Like,
I mean, can you imagine if Griffey beats Bibbs in the tournament, and then for singles, and then beats him as for the title as a team? Like,
yeah,
but he's definitely Rookie of the Year, I think, right?
Yeah, definitely.
There's nobody else. I mean, Rue would have had a shot if he
maybe Harper if he retains.
Oh, Harper, yeah. Okay, you're right. It's probably between Griffey and Harper. If Griffey wins 2 belts, I think that trumps the 1 belt.
But, like, that's one of those weird things. Like, as well, is he's got to play twice. Like, at least in the digital era, they could have had it where like they didn't have him film both of them in the same day, but they are using a live thing. So there could be that strain there. Like unless they make the teams match first and his singles championship match last.
They probably wouldn't do that. Oh.
Yeah, which I mean,
they'll probably do Star Wars first.
Yeah, or Roka's match first.
Or Roka's match.
Well,
yeah.
I
think he'll win a belt.
Yeah.
I think he'll win the singles belt. If he beats Bibbs. Its caveat is if he beats Bibbs.
And I know Chandru, he just came out this week and said, yeah, I'm having my match in November. We just have to schedule it. Because Christian, we all live in California and Christian wants it to be in person.
We're halfway through November and there's a Thanksgiving holiday.
Yep. So that's one of those things where I'm like,
unless what, they're going to do a live event or they're going to do like a pay-per-view event on Black Friday.
Yeah, unless they do it next weekend and it's a surprise, like the 19th.
Okay. I guess that's possible.
Yeah,
but otherwise it's not getting done.
Yeah, and like that's one of those things as well. Like, could we see, like, because Paul has not said anything about him taking back his title shot, so I assume that this is happening.
Damn it! I hope that happens though. I would really like it if he was just like, nope.
Yeah, like so unless they do it the 19th or the 26th, they do it Black Friday, then he's got to use it at Spectacular. If that doesn't happen, then he's going to use it at Spectacular. And I would hate that. Like
triple threat.
Yeah, and
wait, is Mike playing Mara again?
No, Mike's playing Parker.
Parker, yeah. Sorry, I got like an advertisement for Mike versus Mara 3, and I was like, wait, didn't that happen already? Why am I getting an ad for that? Or like why did it come up in my feed? I already watched that. I know what happens.
But yeah, it's interesting.
And then that was it. Those are the things that happened this
week. And I don't know if anything has happened in the fan leagues. I watched the 5 seconds of that debate match because I thought it was you.
We actually watched that yesterday, my wife and I. Nazario ended up winning that, so he's playing Kirk for the title for Fan Zone Debate. We had, since last we talked, we had a few additional fandom matches. We had License to Chill play Manhattan Project.
Yeah.
And License to Chill won that match, which is crazy because Scully and Coho are fairly formidable. But License to Chill pulled that one out at the end. Betting round really helped. And then Necronomicon played Guns and Ships in the second round. And Guns and Ships won. Albert and Boatman are on a tear. Would not be surprised if they won this whole damn thing and were the team that we ended up playing for the belts. And then Albert had a double dip because he played Kane McMillan for the 4th spot of 5 in the 5-way number 1 contender match that yours truly is going to be in. And Albert smoked Kane. Albert impressed the hell out of me this last week.
So I have a question. So they're not having a fandom singles tournament?
No, what they're doing is Tim is playing Nick because Tim had a title shot that he got. And Scully has a number 1 contender title shot that he won. And they did a thing after one of the matches where they made a joking thing about whoever next comes in the stream is who Scully will play. And Coho was the next one who came in. So oh my God, I superimposed their names. I said Nim and Tick. Isn't that funny?
Yep.
Tim and Nick will play each other for a title. I don't know when that will air. And then whoever wins that will play the winner of Scully and Coho. And I think that will be the end of that. So no, there's no tournament for the next title contender. It's that just to get it out of the way. And then our number 1 contender match, the 5-way, will be like the first competitive thing for deciding who will be the next singles contender. So right now for that, we have Holtzman, moi,
Joe,
Albert.
Okay.
What a number one contender match, my friend. What a number one contender match. And,
Yep.
I'm terrified, but interested, intrigued. And by next year, we will have new categories. I don't remember if we talked about the new categories or not.
Yeah, I know they took Oscars away.
Oscars is going away, which Jake and I have been using that lately because, we kind of like it, even though I don't know it like the back of my hand, but I know it enough now because I studied it so much. They are reducing Disney live action by a lot, fortunately. It has like its own subcategories. You can't use subcategories for, like strengths or whatever, but they have their own subcategories. They're adding Twilight to YA. So it's not YA dystopia, it's just YA. And Twilight's added. And the new category they added was Alien versus Predator.
Okay.
Which is great because in stuff like TMG or whatever, or Untitled Full Metal, I think TMG uses Alien Predator. That makes me more inclined to watch those movies now. Although I did have to watch Predator for Full Metal singles. So those I can start building up on those to get prepared and use as a strength for next year, which is my goal. After the season ends, after my last match for title retention. So that's what's going on in Full Metal or in Multiplex. And they're doing Game of Factions. They're doing that stuff. So that will start airing at some point.
I have a question.
Yes.
What does Fun DMC stand for?
What do you mean? Don't you know the hip hop group Run DMC?
Nope.
Oh my gosh. You need to get out of your bubble, man. Run DMC was a hip hop group from the 80s and 90s. It had like Rev Run. Did you ever see Run's House on MTV?
No.
Oh my gosh. Do you know the song Walk This Way by Aerosmith?
Yeah.
Okay, they did a version of it where it was Aerosmith and Run DMC. And they made a video where they played on two sides of a wall and they broke open the wall. And they did a dual Walk This Way with Aerosmith and Run DMC. And they did a bunch of other songs that I will not bore you with. That's not coming to my mind right now. But oh my gosh, yeah, it's just a pun on Run DMC, which is a band from the 80s.
Okay. Yeah, I did not get that. I figured I was like, oh, I know what fun is. I have no idea what DMC stands for.
DMC were the initials of the guys who were.
Okay.
In basketball, going back to sports, there was in Golden State they had 3 people with the initials TMNC, Tim Hardaway, and I can't remember the other ones right now, but they called them Run TMC because they like to run. They scored a lot running the basket, on fast breaks, so they called them Run TMC. So they were cool, but that's what that stands for. Otherwise, I think the TM Geek tournament has slowed down a bit as the purveyor of that has just gotten married.
Yep.
So congratulations to Kevin and Lillian for that. But I think TM Geek is on a bit of a hiatus from that. So I'm not sure if within the next 6 weeks, if that will get completed or not. They just had the first airing of the singles tournament, the 32-person tournament. So we'll see how that goes. I didn't watch that, so I don't know how it went. Full Metal, we talked about RJ's announcement that Full Metal
I think he announced it right after our show last week, so we haven't actually talked about it on the show.
Okay. So for everybody who's unaware, Full Metal Geek, which is a highly competitive league that you had to test into unless you were ranked in the top 10 the previous year, is run by RJ, who is currently in New York taking classes to be an actor. Because of that, he has been very busy, and he made an announcement last week that Full Metal Geek will be on hiatus till basically the middle of next year. So for those of you who got to play in one match like Colton and I, that's all we get to play in for 2021.
Hey, but that means I don't have to test back in.
Yeah, but that means that you and I have a losing record for the year, which is annoying.
Yeah, that's true. But I was always going to have that. So,
okay, well, as someone who's never had a losing record ever and stuff, it makes me upset.
I understand. Actually, I don't. I have a, except for in what was that trivia league? That was the Schmodown Patreon.
Was the movie trivia the
Face Off?
MTSM?
Yeah. I have I am 1-0 there with 1 TKO.
Wow. Can you build that back up? Be the
Yeah.
king of that league?
I would love that.
Okay. You should work on it.
Actually, I wouldn't because Nick's also the champion there.
Yep.
So I just want to like a league where he isn't involved.
You can do some of the lesser tiered leagues, you know.
Yeah, well, like TMG, he's not involved there, so that's good.
Like there are other people who are higher ranked people. I know they're also going back to Full Metal. They're getting ready because they do the snowball at the end of the year. So people are trying to win 4 classics so they can play in the snowball. I have 3 of them. So I'm going to, after this run of matches that I'm filming, I'm going to try my best to get in as many of those as I can to try to win a 4th one. I just watched the one that aired last night for Veterans Day, and I was like, man, I really wish I had done that one. I would have won. I hate that. I hate watching classics and be like, I would have won that one. Would have won that one. So annoying. And then I think there's other Full Metal stuff coming down the pike too. But that's basically, it's mostly multiplex that has kind of the tournaments and stuff going on. Otherwise, everybody's just sort of on hiatus. Holidays are coming up. So I think there's a lot of scramble, especially in multiplex, to get some stuff done.
Yep. All right. So let's move on to Eternals.
Yes. Please. I've heard so many differing opinions about Eternals. I don't know which way is up.
Okay. So not to like this is going to be spoiler free, so you out there, the one person that's watching the show, you don't have to worry. Guess what? We ain't going to spoil Eternals for you. I got you. But hey, I like the movie. It is the most different MCU movie. They're like, it's.
I ask you different how?
It doesn't really follow the MCU formula.
Oh.
And that's it's a good movie. Like, I know a lot of the critics didn't like it, but I liked it, and yeah, it was good. There is one thing, like we talked about it. No, never mind. I'll just.
What? Go ahead.
So there was one thing that we talked about last week, where I don't want to spoil anything for the one person who's watching this.
No.
We'll talk about it off camera.
Okay, fine.
I just have to remember. But yeah, like it was a good movie. Like I'm more excited for No Way Home.
Yep.
At the same time, I'm also sad because some spoilers came out this week on Twitter.
Yep, that's why I don't like to do Twitter, so that I don't get spoiled.
Yeah, so that happened, which it was stuff that, and like they released the poster. Did you see that? You have not?
No, I've never seen that. I've never seen the poster. Now you make me not want to see it at all. So
okay, because on the poster they definitely have some reveals.
Oh my god! Why would you put reveals on a poster?
Yeah, so
dumb.
I guess because I think either this weekend or next weekend, whenever Afterlife comes out, I think they're posting the trailer. But yeah, the poster has like one glaring spoiler that like a lot of people figured, so I guess they just threw it out there. But if you go look at it, then we can talk about the.
I'm not looking at it. You made me not want to look at it.
It's not like a big bad spoiler. It just is a thing that happened.
This is all making me sad.
But
when does No Way Home come out?
what
specific date?
The 17th of December.
Okay, so I just have to make it a month.
Yep.
Okay, good.
But yeah, I'm more excited about that.
No, I mean, you were more excited for that than Eternals.
But I was pleasantly surprised about Eternals. Like, so far, I think this year, I think it was better than Shang-Chi.
Whoa!
But
people in Asia, I bet, would hate that.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, especially since people in Asia didn't get to. A lot of the Asian countries didn't let it come to their country because of something.
They don't like,
something that apparently is controversial is in the movie, and I don't understand.
Sex scene?
No, not that. It's because there's a homosexual couple.
Yep, that's. I was gonna say it has to do something with sexuality or race, more than likely.
Yeah, and I'm a person where I'm like, hey, that didn't bother me at all. Like,
well, if you're a normal person who just is a human who wants to celebrate humanity, then yeah, you wouldn't mind it at all.
Yeah, like I know people who like when The Rise of Skywalker came out, and in the movie, there's a lesbian couple who kiss.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they were like, why is that in Star Wars? I'm like, because that is on our planet. Why in the world would they not do it in a galaxy far, far away? Like, it happens.
It might be more normal.
Like,
heterosexuality might be strange.
Like, I'm one of those people where I don't really like romance in my geek movies. But I know it exists in real life.
Yeah.
So, like, that didn't bother me, but the Rey and Kylo Ren kiss, that bothered me.
Well, yeah, because that was dumb.
Yeah. Like, so that, like, you can tell, like, that woman just came back from a war, so of course she's going to kiss her wife, girlfriend, whatever that is. Whereas the kiss between Ben and Rey was just obnoxious.
It's weird.
Yeah, and, like, if the
they might have been brother and sister for all we knew.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that.
Up till like, what was it, like 30 minutes before that? Might have been, or maybe like 40 minutes before that. Might have been.
Yeah, or at least like cousins or something.
Yeah, they might have been related. I think if you're a dyad, you have some connection that probably shouldn't span sexual ties or whatever.
Well, I mean, the fact that like she kissed him and then he immediately died.
Yeah, it's like Romeo and Juliet, but the reverse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh, so stupid. I think I remember hearing people like not gasping, but going ugh when that happened. I think I heard that was the reaction in theaters.
Yeah. That was so.
But we're not here to talk about Rise.
Yeah, we're not. Like, one day I want to, like, definitely want to talk. Like, if there's ever a show where you're not on it, I'm talking about the sequel trilogy. Full on. It's going to be 25 minutes of me just talking about the sequel.
Oh, you just want to stand on a soapbox.
Yep, I sure do. Like, I want to be like Anthony with his Lord of the Rings talk, but I want to talk about the sequel trilogy and how those movies were the worst and pretty much murdered my childhood.
It's funny way to think about it.
Yeah, like, it was to the point where, like, I did not like Star Wars anymore. And my wife, like, you can see my office. Like, I have a Darth Vader right over there.
Yeah, you got it.
I have a Rise of Skywalker poster over here, which is the coolest thing that came from the movie, is because the poster looks cool. And I have a bunch of lightsabers and the child. And, like, at that point, when that movie came out, I was just like, nope, I'm done. And, like, my wife started, like, planning our wedding, and she started planning it all Star Wars themed. And I was just like, I was excited because I was getting married, but I was not excited about the Star Wars stuff. And then
it's really sad that it ruined you that way.
Oh yeah, and then the Mandalorian happened, and I loved the Mandalorian. So I can't like The Mandalorian is top-notch Star, but probably like that and Rebels is probably the best Star Wars content that anyone has ever made.
I've heard that. The
They-
Mandalorian part I would definitely agree with as someone who is not a purveyor of Rebels. I don't know, but I've heard that.
Yeah, and like,
What about Resistance?
well, I do not like Resistance.
Okay.
But it is.
I know nothing of it. I just know it exists.
Yeah, it's really weird because it runs straight into The Last Jedi,
Ugh.
and like some things, like part of the show is figuring out how to destroy the dreadnought. Like they got the plans for that, and they immediately were like, "Hey, we'll send these to Poe. You might need them one day." And then in The Last Jedi, he knows how to destroy a dreadnought.
It's good.
And I'm like,
it all comes together.
Yeah, something like that.
They were like, well, Rogue One worked because we got people always wondered how the Bothans got the plans for the Death Star or whatever. When they weren't Bothans, it was the second Death Star. I want to know how the Bothans got the second Death Star plans.
Well, I mean, because Palpatine kind of explains that himself. He's like, yeah, I let him get the plans so the fleet would show up and I can blow them up.
Yeah, but I guess Resistance was like, hey, man, we made a whole movie about just getting plans for destroying something. Why don't we make a whole show around it, too?
Yeah.
Lame.
Yeah, it sure.
What about Visions?
Oh, I'm actually really. Oh, no. 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Visions was good.
I know. I just wanted to take you back through good and bad Star Wars things.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, in my brain, I was thinking of the Star Wars show that's going to come out in a few years. That's which now I can't remember. The Acolyte. I'm excited for that because it's going to be very dark side oriented. But yeah, and it's going to be in the High Republic. But yeah, I thought to get back to our Eternals conversation.
Yeah, really took a tangent.
It was good, and I know you said you're not sure if you're going to see it. I would recommend watching.
I don't know. The only reason I want to see it is for the sake of continuity.
Yeah, there's definitely
nothing about anything I've watched in a trailer. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask you who gave the best acting performance? Who was the character or whatever? Who was the actor you were like, yeah.
Richard Madden.
Richard Madden?
Yep.
Okay. What about Brian Tyree Henry? How was he?
As a person who I don't know who that is.
Oh my gosh. What the heck? You've never seen Atlanta?
No.
You haven't watched Atlanta. Great. He was Miles's dad. He was Jefferson Davis in Into the Spider-Verse.
Okay.
Yeah. He's I don't want to say what because I don't like to describe people by race. So I'm not gonna say it. Yeah, you have to look it up. I'm not gonna give a surface level description like that.
Yeah, what was his name?
Brian Tyree Henry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he was good.
Okay, good.
There's something about him in the movie that it's interesting.
Okay.
Can I tell you?
No, don't tell me. I don't.
Okay.
I won't see it. How was Angelina Jolie?
Oh, she was really good.
Like really, like
yeah,
honestly good or good for Angelina Jolie?
No, like honestly good.
Okay.
Like,
well, that's good. She hasn't been good in a hot minute.
Salma Hayek was good.
Well, Salma Hayek's usually pretty good. So
Jenna Chan was good. That's her name, right?
Chan.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Those are all those are like the known. Kit Harington. How's Kit Harington?
Yeah. He's great. Like, it's you gotta see it before I can talk about it.
I don't know if I'll see it in theaters.
If you have time, you should totally see it. Like,
I don't really have time in the next couple of weeks. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, like I understand. Like, nothing in the movie leads to the next movie. I don't think. I'm pretty sure, but
you mean into No Way Home?
Yeah,
so I would imagine not.
Yeah, so you don't really have to watch any of that. before this, and by the time that's there, like you're gonna watch that in the theater. So Eternals will still be in the theater because we'll still be in that 45-day window.
Oh, damn it, you're right.
So you could always, like
Don't tell
watch
me.
both of them in one day.
No, it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, like I have to watch all three of both of the other two Spider-Man movies with the kids before, which means I have to find them somewhere because they're not on Disney Plus.
Stars.
Yeah.
That's why I pay for Stars as a Hulu extension.
Okay.
I also could use it to watch all the Friday the 13th and whatever,
Okay.
Yeah. That's why I pay for Stars. I pay way too much for Stars, but I pay for it. So we watched American Gods, my wife and I. We went through that whole series. Took a long time, but it was worth it. It was pretty good.
Okay. All right. So let's Disney Plus day. So something really interesting was mentioned. Let me find the announcement.
Yes.
So they had they didn't have a trailer for the Obi-Wan show, but they showed like
photos, right? Like
photos.
Photos.
And there's a scene where Obi-Wan and Vader are about to fight.
Yes.
And I don't know how I feel about it.
Why?
Well, because like in A New Hope, he's like, when I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master. And there's that, which makes it seem like they haven't seen each other since Mustafar. But then there's scenes in Return of the Jedi where Vader's like, Obi-Wan once thought as you did. But we've never seen that because in Revenge of the Sith, he's just like, no, I'm going to take you down and there's no redemption for you. So, like, there's both those perspectives where this show makes sense. Like, them fighting makes sense. I just don't know, like, why he wouldn't go after. Like, this is a few years after Revenge of the Sith.
10 years after that, right?
Yeah, like, and it's between the time where, like, Rebels are doing their thing, like, the show, and so we know the Inquisitors are out there, and, like, it's really strange that Vader's not, like, there is a scene in the second season of Rebels where, like, Vader and Palpatine are talking because they've found Ahsoka,
Mm-hmm.
and Vader's like, maybe she can lead me to Obi-Wan, and so there's that where he's like, oh, well, maybe that's the reference to where they fought since Mustafar. But I've always just assumed that was he knows Obi-Wan survived Order 66, and he's really wanting to find him to like mess him up.
How many people did Obi-Wan fight on Tatooine after all this stuff happened? Seems like a lot.
Yeah. Well, I assume from the stuff is that he's gonna leave Tatooine to go find Vader.
That would make more sense because if Vader came to Tatooine before, why wouldn't he have assumed that like he was watching over his kid?
Yeah, like,
or why wouldn't he make an assumption that Obi-Wan's there for a reason and try to figure out what that reason is?
Yeah, like it's really weird. It's just one of those things that I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. Like, I don't like the idea of him leaving because what if while he's gone, unless he like puts someone like really good in charge of watching over Luke, what if he doesn't know that something bad doesn't happen to Luke? But yeah, like
it seems like he was just after a while he was like, isolation stinks. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, like unless they show it where like Ahsoka finds him and is like, Vader's on this planet, I'll watch the boy. Or he's like, hey, will you watch this kid for me? And he doesn't tell her who he is because they have Rosario Dawson already doing something.
Yeah.
So unless they could do it where it's like Rex or somebody, and they already have Tamir Morrison, so they could have him appear as Rex.
Damn, Tamir Morrison just collecting all the Star Wars checks.
Yeah, but like, I don't his mission is to guard Luke. And like stuff in the comics where like people have came to like mess up Luke, he'll jack him up and like make sure it doesn't happen. So like you wouldn't think you're gonna abandon the person that you think is the chosen one to go fight his evil dad. I don't know, but yeah, like I don't know how I feel about that one. They released some clip or some images and clips of Moon Knight and She-Hulk and Miss Marvel.
Yep.
And then they did like a Under the Helmet, the Legacy of Boba Fett thing. I have not watched it. And then there's a new Spider-Man animated show. It's going to be on Disney Plus, and it's called Spider-Man
Freshman Year.
And it's supposed to be Tom Holland's Peter Parker the year before he meets Tony Stark.
Okay.
And I love that idea because obviously, like,
I know there's the clip in Civil War where he's showing him YouTube videos and shit. So
Yeah.
I know he was doing Spider-Man things prior to meeting Tony.
Well, and like this is a thing where technically they don't need Sony's permission to use Spider-Man in a TV series. So if Sony ever rejects their stuff, they can make Spider-Man on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Forever. And I don't like the idea that they would do that, but the new CEO of Disney is a big dickhead, and he might do that. And this, even if it's just animated, like I like the idea of like them making more Spider-Man content in the MCU, whatever it is, because I love Spider-Man. And then they revealed that Agatha is going to have her own spin-off series.
Yep, House of Harkness.
Yep. And
with the guy who did WandaVision.
Yep.
That writer.
And then a Marvel Zombies show.
Yeah, I figured that was coming.
And then What If Season 2. What If Season 2. And then
the thing you're burying, which is that we're doing more animated X-Men.
Yes.
I think that's
the 90s, which like I assume it's just going to be a sequel series to that show.
Yeah, it's 97. So yeah.
So which I think that's interesting. But yeah, like we're getting a lot of content on Disney Plus, which is good.
Yeah, I mean that's their bread and butter now. It's more so even than the movies.
Yep.
How about Baby Groot shorts?
Yeah, I'm not really excited about that or the Christmas special with the Guardians.
Oh, I'm super excited for Christmas special. I hope it's so much like the Star Wars Christmas special.
I hope not, because I hate that.
Well, no, that's the point. It's making fun of it. Like I want it to be meta and make fun of that. It's great.
Yeah. But yeah, like I'm really interested in where this is all gonna go. Honestly, like keep on releasing Star Wars content on Disney Plus because I prefer it in episodic stuff. I much more prefer that than movies. And like they've already taken Rogue One or Rogue Squadron. Like apparently they pushed that back, which like I hate that like Kathleen Kennedy, yes, she's in charge of the movies and stuff, but every time she hires a director, she screws up because like who's the director of Wonder Woman? I'm having a moment.
Patty Jenkins.
Yeah, she was supposed to direct the Rogue Squadron movie.
Yep.
And now she's like, oh, I have some conflict of interest or some scheduling conflicts, so we have to push this back. And that seems like either Kathleen Kennedy isn't letting her do what she wants to do, and this is her way of leaving, or a stupid thing like Kathleen Kennedy didn't be like, hey, we need to film at this time, because apparently she's also filming Wonder Woman 3, which I don't know why you would do that when Wonder Woman 2 was a big old pile of garbage.
Ugh.
But
hate that movie.
Yeah.
There's some other important things from the stuff we knew that's going to exist, like in She-Hulk, like Tim Roth's going to be in it,
Yep.
which is awesome.
Yeah, and they showed a picture of Mark Ruffalo as Professor Hulk,
Yeah.
but then there's also a picture of him as just Bruce Banner with now hulked up version of whatever the character's name is. I can't remember.
She's what's her name?
I know her real name is Tatiana whatever, right?
Tatiana Maslany is the actress name. It's like Jessica something. I don't remember.
Yeah, I also don't remember.
I'm sorry that I don't remember She-Hulk's name.
Which, like, that makes me feel like, because there's a comic where he passes his Hulkness on to someone else, and at the end of Shang-Chi, he's just Bruce Banner. He's not Professor Hulk anymore. So I'm wondering maybe he'll pass his gamma radiation and crap over to his cousin, so he can be just regular dude.
Jennifer Walters, that's her name.
Yep. But yeah, it's interesting. Like we heard some more about like Secret Invasion and stuff, and yeah, like I'm ready to, like, Hawkeye starts next Friday. No, the 24th.
Yeah, right before Thanksgiving, baby.
Yep, and we will not have a show that week.
Hawkeye, Thanksgiving football.
Yes.
Wonderful. It's Black Friday. It's wonderful.
Yeah, like, unless we film on the 24th, we will not have a show that week, or the 27th. So that's really up to whatever, because I'm not working that week. So it's okay. But yeah, like Disney Plus, good. I still don't like that they haven't really announced any, like, which I guess it's Disney Plus Day. It's not let's announce all our movies day.
Yeah. We also had Jungle Cruise come out.
Yep. And then Shang-Chi's coming out.
Yep.
Yep.
Let's go watch those. Prepare for fandom more, which is great.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. Like, when?
I don't know when
those movies.
We just had the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Get added in.
Yeah, and that is,
which may or may not, feature in matches coming up. Who knows? But yeah, I'm sure I could go and tell you if you want to vamp here for a minute. I'm sure I could figure out when it is that those are coming on. But
yeah.
They will be, I think, for the end of 2021, if I remember correctly.
All right. But yeah, it's really interesting. Like, everything that's going down, like Disney, they've really got their streaming service. It's a good time. And not to change the subject, but I want to bamf on this a little bit as well. Is I don't know if you ever watched How I Met Your Mother.
No, but I know they're doing. I know they're doing the Hillary Duff How I Met Your Father.
Yeah, and I don't know how I feel about that. Like, yeah, they showed the cast and all that stuff, and I'm like, no, I don't like it. But that's just me.
So going back to what I was saying, because I did find it, Jungle Cruise eligible next Tuesday.
Yeah.
So that will feature probably at the end of the year. And Shang-Chi not eligible till November 30th.
Okay.
So, and then the list includes stuff coming up, Venom, No Time to Die, Halloween Kills, Eternals, Encanto, Spider-Man, Kingsman, The Kingsman, Morbius, The Batman, Turning Red, Doctor Strange, Fantastic Beasts, The Secrets of Dumbledore, Thor, Love and Thunder, DC League of Super Pets. I have no idea what the fuck that is. Lightyear.
I am so excited for Lightyear. That was such a good trailer.
I didn't see the trailer. Black Panther, Black Adam, Puss in Boots. There's another Puss in Boots movie. Jesus. Mission Impossible 7, Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse 2, Halloween Ends, Flash, the Marvels, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Those are all on the list of things that will eventually be in fandom at some point.
Yeah. I wonder, do you think they'll ever bring any of the other like stuff, like the Star Wars shows and stuff, into fandom?
No.
Because PJ kind of confirmed that they're bringing all that stuff into the Schmodown next year.
Schmodown can have it.
Not for just Star Wars, but also for IG, which makes me feel really bad for Amaru because all of them, because someone commented, they're like, what are they going to do? They're not going to be able to write any more Star Wars questions since they're not making any more Star Wars movies, apparently. Like, all the Star Wars movies they want to make or get postponed. And PJ came out and was like, we're not going to have any problem with that. We got Disney Plus stuff that we can ask questions about. And I'm like, well, so far that's only the 2 seasons of The Mandalorian, and then the Book of Boba Fett comes out in 4 weeks.
Visions.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
That stinks. That stinks, the amount of crap that trivia makes you have to watch.
Yeah, especially like, oh my Lord.
Really?
Now, next time he's on the show, like in December, I gotta ask him how he's gonna feel about that, because man, I feel bad for him. Like if I was in the Schmodown, or the FCL for that matter, because the FCL has already started doing the cartoons and all that stuff in their Star Wars League. And if the Schmodown follows that, he is gonna, he works a regular job. There's like 400 episodes of freaking Star Wars animation that you gotta pay attention to.
Read a lot of wikis.
Yeah, but of course, and we were talking, there's gonna be a question one day about that droid at the clone facility that has 100 characters in his name, and you're gonna have to get them all right.
It's like a physical impossibility, though.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm Alex has talked about it on his Wednesday night streams. He's like, yeah, if they ever do that, I have memorized that name exactly.
All right.
So if they ever ask that question, I know it.
Never asked.
Yeah, it will be a thing where obviously it won't be like a whiteboard question. It will be like your 5-pointer in The Bad Batch. What is the name of that droid? And then you spout off, 60 characters, and they're like, ooh, you said L before G. It's G before L. You got the question wrong.
It's also going to be tough for the people judging it to make sure that they're saying everything. They're going to have to
yeah.
They're going to have to be say it slowly so that we can actually confirm that you did it. That will just open up a huge can of worms. I don't see how that will work.
Yep, but yeah, it's interesting. But that's Disney Plus day. I don't really have anything else to say about that.
I have things coming up that I can't watch Disney Plus stuff on, but I do want to watch Jungle Cruise and want to watch Shang-Chi again at some point. So I'm happy that they're on there, and I don't have to spend money on it.
Yes. But yeah, I think that's all we got for the show. I don't think there's anything else. I know, less than 2 weeks till Hawkeye, and then as soon as Hawkeye finishes, and which I like that they're doing it on Wednesdays. That's great, because that gives, now pretty much every day is the same for me based on what my job is now.
Yeah.
I can wake up early enough and watch it. It's great. And then Book of Boba Fett will roll right into that, and then I have no idea what's next year for Disney Plus, the schedule.
No. But that'll get revealed over time, right? Yeah. Just gotta wait. Gotta be patient, buddy.
Yes.
We'll get there.
Yeah. This was a good show. Periodically, we had one person watched the show, so
Yeah.
that's good.
For that one person.
Yeah, well, and I know it was different one people because I mentioned earlier, I was like, I don't know who this one person is. And my buddy texted me and was like, hey, it's me. I was just checking your show out. And I was like,
That's it. I'm just checking it out, seeing
yeah.
if it
And
exists.
then another person came on, and when we started talking about the crazy nonsense that is the Asian countries ban Eternals for the homosexual relationship, I had the one on there, and then it disappeared. So I'm like,
Huh.
someone didn't like the fact that we were talking about that, or they just got bored.
More than likely the second part, but that's fine.
Yeah, I hope that's the case, but man, people are awful. So they might be like, hey, there's gayness in that movie. I don't want that in my entertainment.
Maybe.
Yeah, you have no idea. But yeah, it was a good show. Thank you for coming on again.
Thanks for having me. Always happy to be a guest here. Like I said, SuperNova show means my weekend has begun.
Yes. And of course, I don't think we'll have a show for the next 2 weeks.
Yes.
So, hey, we were the consistent TMG show, which is the reason why we got to do this live on Friday. And then we showed up that consistency by taking 2 weeks off.
Yep. So sorry, TMG Entertainment. We failed you.
Yeah, unless we can film a random day during the week, that's probably not going to happen. But that's okay.
C'est la vie, c'est la va.
Yes. But yeah, thank you for coming on. Do you have anything you would like to promote?
Nope. Just keep your eye out. There's more trivia stuff with me coming periodically. Not as much, but because we're nearing the end of the year. And, when you're the title holder, in some cases, you don't get to play as much. So,
yeah.
Oh me, oh my. Feels so bad.
Yeah, and I was supposed to have a Twilight match, Full Metal Random. And
yes.
I dropped out of that because I didn't have the time to watch the movies, nor do I have enough time to do barely anything. So
I have a Full Metal Random match coming up for a subject that we talk about here on the show often.
Oh yeah, for NFL?
Yeah.
Yep.
I get to play Scully and Russ and Jacob West, Papa West. I'm very looking forward to it.
Yeah, I signed up for Twilight and I was like, oh, I'll get around to watching those movies again. I have not. They are not good. And my wife was like, yeah, I'll watch them with you. I've never seen them before. And I was like, great. And every time I bring it up, she's like, no, I don't want to watch that. And I'm like, if you don't want to watch it, I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to be the dude who neglects his family to watch Twilight. Nope. That's not me. That is not the thing I want to be known for. But yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at ColtonRoberts8, and you can follow the show at SuperNova_show. Subscribe to TMG Entertainment, those out there who have watched this show live. But yeah, it's good. Can't complain. Yeah. Let's get out of here.
Let's do it. Don't forget to tip your virtual waitresses. Every one person of you who is watching this stream. Thank you.